I'm trying to explain what's happening here quickly and soft, and the importance to be here sharing your brilliant feelings. And, how it's for you, man?
How's it for me? I mean, I love being at South by Southwest, but I love being a part of the Brazilian community here. Sao Paulo House has always been a great place for me to come, but over the last 2 years I've been spending a lot of time in Brazil, and I love the fact that I've been embraced so wholeheartedly by the Brazilian people. I feel like I'm one of you, and I'm a part of the community now, and it's just one of my favorite places to be.
And this is, Brazilians have this positivity. We think people show the future is really something hard, fire, end of the world. Can we save this planet? We still have time?
Well, here's my philosophy on that. The planet's going to be fine because we're going to be the ones that have the problem. The planet will eventually purge itself of us if we continue to do what we want. The planet has a timeline of trillions of years. Humanity's only been around for 300,000 or so. So if we just keep destroying the planet, it's going to say, you're gone, and it will heal itself over the next several hundred billions of years. It has that kind of time. We don't. So it's really an issue of, will society save itself? And will we understand, will we listen to the signs that the Earth is giving us of how we can live and cooperate and collaborate with it? So I think it'll be fine long term. We are hurting it currently, but our timeline is much shorter than the planet's is.
And just the last one is like, how do you use your crystal ball that you see what's going on, what's the future, how it works your job, man?
So for me, it's not about predicting the future, it's about identifying signals of change. Because you can't predict the future, it's impossible. But what you can do is create scenarios based on those signals of what you're seeing and say, well, what might the world look like under these different conditions? And we're moving to a world where in the last several decades we've celebrated insight. So what's the insight in the data? And that's really important. But that tells you about the current state of things. How do we take a foundation of insight and move that to a celebration of foresight? How do we get people to think about different plausible, probable, and possible futures and say, what might this world look like in these conditions? That gives us a map forward. We're not going to predict it perfectly, but what happens is we might see something that says, this looks a little bit like this thing we talked about, and it makes you so much more adaptable. You can change and adapt because you've thought through the consequences of something already happening, and when you identify those patterns, you can start making moves instinctually instead of having to do it reactively.
Yeah. Thank you, because my crystal ball never works.
It often just says the wrong thing to kind of mess with you.
Alguma pergunta para ele aqui?
Não, acho que a gente estava conversando agora há pouco sobre essa transformação que a gente vai ter que se reinventar como profissional, assim como as empresas, com um período cada vez mais curto. Então ele estava falando que de 6 em 6 meses a gente vai ter que se reinventar. And we're just talking how we are going to reinvent ourselves. We will have to reinvent ourselves in a short period of time, in many times. Like, because we are going to live longer, right? To work more. And what's your opinion about that? Do you think that everybody's going to fit in that new world?
I think there's no world in which everyone fits, unfortunately. There's a lot of people who don't fit in this world, and we have to figure out how to kind of navigate our way through that. I think that the world we end up creating is up to us. There's this idea that, you know, the future kind of arrives and shows up for us, and a lot of people feel like they don't have the ability to participate in it, but the future is us. Like, we are the future, and we can make decisions today. Every decision we make is a micro slice that changes things in the future for us. It's like that butterfly effect. And if we make the right decisions enough times, we can make a more inclusive future. But if we continue to do the things we're seeing around the world right now, which is about exclusion and it's about isolation, that's going to be problematic. Personally, I'm optimistic about it. I think that this isolationism, this multipolarism, this fight to own and kind of dominate is not going to work out well for those that are doing it.
Yeah, do you think that the AI came in a difficult time? Because look what is going in the world when you look at politics and other stuff, the environmental crisis that we are living in. Do you think that it's just the right tool but the wrong time?
I actually think it came at the right time. Things take a long time to take hold. They take like gestation cycles. An idea needs to live through multiple revolutions to really take hold and to diffuse through society. So first we had the germ of the idea, or we have the representatives who are directly affected being the only champions that they have. And ultimately over time you build more allies and accomplices to continue to build the momentum behind that. That eventually reaches resistance. And we go through waves of that where the movement grows and it contracts, the movement grows and it contracts, and maybe over multiple generations or multiple decades, it can actually become part of a society to where we don't even think about it anymore. Like, we are a more inclusive society than we've ever been, but we still have lots of things to figure out. And I think that this battle, this friction, shows us what's important, what to focus on. It helps us refine our message. It helps us figure out tactics of how to move forward and bring those people who are opposed to it, say, so tell me, like, what is it that you don't agree with? And oftentimes, when that conversation happens, the barriers fall. It's less about the actual idea of DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusion. People are not opposed to those things because there's a situation in every one of our lives where we are excluded from something. We may not be in the minority most of the time, but there is a place of that. So that means we are also affected by diversity, equity, inclusion, no matter who we are. So when we start to have questions or conversations about what that tangibly means, that breaks down. And I think that this back and forth is a time for us to refine the message, figure out how to reach out to those people who are resisting and say, how can I bring you to be an ally or an accomplice in that cause?
Do you think that it's possible to destroy this barrier when it involves information? Because now people are, of course, very polarized.
Yes.
The misinformation, the fake news are a huge problem. It's growing because of AI.
Yes.
And do you think that we are going to be able to, build new bridges?
I think that we're going to lose some battles, but we can win the war. The idea of long-term timeline shows that even if you lose a few times, it's really not something you can't recover from. And I think in a place with the multiplying ability to create this information, we're going to lose some things in the short term, and it's going to create more sowing and division. But I think long term, it can also be the opposite. You can actually weaponize this in both directions. You can use AI to actually overwhelm the disinformation with the truth. And if you end up having that, it becomes almost an arms race in many ways. And I think the challenge is those who have the desire to create and sow discontent have been more motivated to be more creative with their methods. And those who are trying to be the ones maintaining the integrity of the truth have tried so hard to maintain the status quo, they're not investing in these new technologies in ways to help spread the truth and make that the universal truth that we all identify with.
So viral as the fake news, right?
Yes.
That's the deal.
Just outgun them for the short period of time, and then we'll figure out our way forward from there.
I hope so.
What about the artificial intelligence is getting better, but sometimes I look for the humanity, and looks like our intelligence for a few people is not so great.
Yes.
It's not so evolution.
I mean, humans are messy. We have brilliant people and we have people who aren't so brilliant, but that's also part of the beauty of the human race. Like, we have everything within our ranks. And if we're talking about whether we're going to compete or win via AI because of this diversity, I think that it creates a narrow version of what intelligence is. This is just cognitive intelligence, which is one form of intelligence. Intelligence is multidimensional. We have creative intelligence, we have somatic intelligence, we have spatial intelligence, and when we start to think about all these different forms of intelligence, it allows us to see how we truly are separate from machine. It allows us to collaborate with machines without threat of losing our humanity, because we know that's just one small slice of who we are.
Great. Thank you for me. It was amazing. Thank you for your time. Thank you for still here.